right, Homesteader family, welcome back to the journey. Welcome to this edition of the Sunday Monday vlog. I'm going to be bouncing all over the place. I've had different people send me different questions, comments, and then addressing different things that I've had over the years that I haven't addressed, and things that are happening this past week, what's coming up this upcoming week, how everything's going, and what you should be doing before it's too late. So, this week, I got my water bill in. My water bill is down to $78.08. Yes, water is expensive. I used a whopping 5,230 gallons of water. Why? Because the outside pipe still leaks, and that's from a month prior. We pay a month late out here. So that was before the freeze and all that stuff, so that I was hauling water. So now I'm not hauling as much water because it's so-called winter time, even though we've been in the upper 70s this past week. Been beautiful. I finally got it down below $100. So I'm doing what I can to cut back on my bills, do what I can. Got my taxes in for the year for my mortgage. And the mortgage on the homestead, I paid just over $5,000 in interest. So, am I saving money by being in debt? No, I am not. So that's one of the comments I keep getting from a lot of people is I should really try to cut back on my debt because I'm paying a lot more than what I should be paying. Yes, I know I'm paying a lot, but it's where I'm able to do what I want to do. I had a comment earlier today on Facebook that stated that not everybody can own a big piece of land, or not everybody has money. Max, go lay down. Relax. And not everybody's able to homestead. And I started thinking about that. And if you gave up stuff, everybody can homestead. Because I went on Zillow earlier today, and there is different 3, 4, 5 acre properties here for less than $20,000. If you buy bigger pieces of land, you can get it, to $2,500 to $3,500 an acre. So you're only talking, if you went and got just a small piece of land for like $10,000, if you put $1,000 away a month, it take you less than a year in order to get that land. And what do you spend money per month that could be going towards land, towards homesteading, towards being able to get what you want? You don't necessarily have to go into debt like I do for everything by having mortgages and finances and my credit cards maxed out and stuff like that to get where I am. You can do it slowly over time. My key, the way I do it in debt, and the reason I pay such high interest and everything, is because I want it now. I want to enjoy my whole life doing what I want to do. I don't want to work a 9 to 5 until I'm 80, crippled over, yada, yada, go from there. So, for those of you that want to homestead, it is feasible. Cut out your Dunkin' Donuts or your Starbucks. Cut out going to the movies. Cut out going on big vacations. Cut out all your subscriptions, your Disney Plus, your Hulu, your Netflix, all those different things. You can cut back money. And even if you save, say, $200 a month, you cut back a little bit, and you save $200 a month. You do that over a year, that's $2,400. You do that for 3 years, 4 years, boom. You just made a full payment and bought land free and clear that all you got to do is pay taxes on. So you can't tell me everybody can't do it. It's your mindset, it's your determination, your willpower, and mental stability to be able to push forward and be I don't even know the word I'm looking for, where you want to do something. Your commitment. There we go. Commitment. You need that commitment to be able to go for what you want. So, just food for thought. I've had this comment for a lot of different years. I've never done this before. I get this every year. This is my military stuff. So people always ask me about my military service. Was I really in the service? I've had people say I wasn't in the service, yada, yada, so on and so forth. So I'm going to put my thumb over my social security number because I'm not giving that out. I give out all my other information, my bank information, all that stuff. Everybody don't need my social. So I'm going to flip the camera around real quick and I'll show you what I get every year. So right here, boom. So right there, you can see under personal claim info, my thumb is over my social. It says I am a veteran. My service dates, and you can see it says honorable, not dishonorable. Some people think I might have got dishonorable discharge since I did less than 2 years. And then you can go ahead and see my service connected evaluation is 60%, but I get paid at 100% because of all my x-rays, MRIs, and the damage that I've done to my spine and my neck. They pay me at 100% because it's irreversible damage. They can do different high-risk surgeries to try to make it better, but because of it, I'm considered 100% service-connected disability. So, those of you that have been wondering that question for a while, I just never put it out there. I don't know why. I always get it. I need it. I take the paper down to the tax office because wherever I live, being 100%, I don't have to pay taxes where I live. Now, I live here, so I don't pay taxes here. But the house I had in Marshall, I still had to pay $400 a year. The homestead, where the animals are, I still have to pay. So it's not exempt on all your taxes. It's only exempt your domicile where you live. So that's what I get every month. And like you saw, it's $37.85 a month. And what do I pay in feed? $2,500 a month. So you do the math, that leaves me what? $1,200 a month to live on. So that's my mortgages, my car insurance, my JG Wentworth, which is $336 a month, my cell phone, water bill, gas bill, electric bill, so on and so forth. So I don't live on much. Why do I have as much as I have? And how am I able to do what I do? Because I go into debt. I got a lot of credit card debt. That's why I'm in the JG Wentworth settlement program, because I had over $20,000 in credit cards that the interest got so big I couldn't even make the interest payment anymore because I went a little too far into debt in my last relationship, fixing up my ex's house and taking family out to dinner and stuff like that using credit cards, which I shouldn't have done. So I'm working on getting out of that. So if you're in debt, that's not good because yes, the interest eats you up and any little bit of money you put aside just goes right into interest. So it is a harder way to live. It would probably be stressful for a lot of people. For me, it's not so stressful because I've been in debt my whole life. I lost everything in 2011, became homeless. That's just how life happens. Like the saying goes, life gives you lemons, you make lemonade out of it. Or you make coffee and just be a monkey. But yeah, so that's my life. You know, these are the different things. I did find a coffee I really like. I've been trying different ones. I'm kind of switching from Coke. We all know I don't drink Coke. Well, I drink Coke when I go to restaurants and stuff. Which, talking about that, since I just brought that up, I had a boomer have a discussion with me over this past week on how I go to Colton so much and I spend so much money and everything. And the great thing is I put it on credit cards. Why is that great? Because I was able to look at my credit cards on my USAA bank account while I'm on the phone with them and go through, and I was naming the dates that I went to Colton. So I know exactly when I went to Colton's. And on average, it's 8 to 10 days that I go to Colton's. So basically, sometimes 4 times a month. So is that a lot to go out? For some people, they would say yes. But for me, the work I do at the homestead, and my doctor already tells me I don't eat well enough and I need to gain weight and yada, yada, yada. 4 meals a month at a restaurant, I don't think is too terribly bad. Yes, I'm spending money. I'm spending tip money that could be going into the homestead, into other projects. But at the same time, like I've talked about before, if you don't do some things that you enjoy, I'm not saying go on a vacation every week. I'm not saying go to the movies every weekend. But you do need a little bit of relaxed time for the mental unwind, because my mind goes 24/7. It never stops, even when I sit back to enjoy things. So, enjoying things, I found this coffee. It's white chocolate vanilla, the donut shop. Not the Walmart brand, the original donut shop kind of coffee. So I take that, and I take the Terrabina Fina sugar or whatever, the brown sugar, the raw sugar, because I'm getting away from all the processed stuff. Like I said, I'm trying to get back to things that, like bags of carrots, onions, cucumbers, cantaloupe, honeydew, stuff like that. That doesn't have all these other chemicals and ingredients and all that stuff in it. I'm trying to get back to healthier. And I know this probably has bad stuff in it, but this tastes so good. This is my 5th cup that I'm drinking right now. And it is as close as I can get to Dunkin' Donuts without, my boomer's going to get excited by me saying this, an espresso machine. I'm not buying an espresso machine. I'm not going to use the espresso machine. I'm not going to get the heated milk thing to make the lattes and all that. But just my regular Keurig with that cup, with like an inch of sugar in the bottom. Yes, a little bit of coffee with my sugar, and a little dropping of milk. It tastes as close as possible to Dunkin' Donuts. So I haven't been going to Dunkin' Donuts. I've been cutting way back on Dunkin' Donuts. I'm getting Dunkin' Donuts maybe twice a month now, if that. This previous week, like I said, it was beautiful. We got up to 76 degrees at one point. And that day I got lucky because I started hauling water from the pool in the back of the homestead that I put that big liner in, filled with water. So I was hauling water, filling all the animals' containers up. It was so nice. I was able to throw 2 IBC totes. So I was hauling over 500 gallons per load. Did 2 loads, over 1,100 gallons. Able to fill all the animals up in a matter of 10, 15, 20 minutes, something like that, because I got the 2-inch trash pump. I pulled the water from the pool with trash pump, filled the 2 containers up, had the pump on the trailer. It goes up with me, put it in the container, pump the water into the tanks. The animals have water, and I'm not doing all the wear and tear on my truck, going 6 miles to the restaurant here, 6 miles back, 6 miles, and paying for the water. So, like I said, overall, I'm working on cutting back on my spending because of my New Year's news goal, 2024. I was already supposed to do the garden setup. I haven't done the garden setup yet. I've been slacking on that. So this week I've been working on clearing the solar area. I'm getting excited about getting over there. Life can knock you down, break you down. So if you're not having a good week or you're not having a good month, trust me, I know that feeling. I've been there, done that. Still, a couple days ago, not feeling good. But I just try to pump myself up. You're your own worst critic and you're your own best cheerleader. So you just got to cheer yourself on, get that motivation, and get work done. So while I was hauling water, it was 76 degrees. And if you know anything about the foot valves or whatever on hoses, if you don't break the seal, the water doesn't drain out. So the water's all the way to the engine. Well, I thought I broke the seal, and I didn't. And I sat the pipe down, started the 2-inch trash pump, because then the water's got to come up the 2-inch line. So I have a few minutes. Reached down to grab a bucket, turned around, and got blasted in the face with water. So I was drenched from head to toe with the 2-inch trash pump water line. It was like a fire hose, just knocked me backwards, covered in water, all wet. Luckily, it was 76 degrees, so my pants dried out after a while. I took my shirt off, enjoyed the sunshine. I'm I'm having an issue with energy. I'm having an issue with headaches. And the medicine the VA gave me, yeah, I sat there and finally read it. It says, do not be in direct sunlight. And one of the major causes is lack of energy and headaches. So, like I said, I hate taking pills, but I'm trying to get the situation taken care of. For those of you who don't know, I've got yellow toenails that got bad, so I'm trying to get my feet fixed because it just looks bad. A lot of old people have it. No, I'm not old. I know a lot of people say I'm getting older. Next week, I will be older. I'll be a whopping 37 years old. People keep telling me I'm close to 40. I'm like, nope, 37 is still not 40. So every year, I'm still not 40. As everybody gets old, I'm aging gracefully. For me, next week, I'll be a whopping 13 years old, not 37. I still act like a kid. I was out there this week cranking Disney music while I was out there cutting wood and moving branches and getting everything done for the solar area. I did go to Home Depot. I got one more sheet of pressure treated plywood, 3/4 inch. I got the floor done for the outhouse. No, I have not made any more progress besides that. I didn't throw a picture up of just a sheet of plywood on the top of it because it doesn't show much. The cinder blocks and all that will be later. I've got to have money for the concrete and all that type of stuff. So I'm not going to build it yet. I have used it already. I put cinder blocks down in the hole and I'm able to climb up and down. So that way, my one neighbor, they moved like right by the property line so they can see me. So I've got nowhere to go. So now I can at least go below ground since it's 4 foot down in the ground. Actually, it's more than that because it's probably 5.5 feet down there now. But I got somewhere to use the restroom if I need to while I'm over there. The dog's been going over some days they're staying home. Don't know if you can see. No, you can't really see. They're all over there on the couch. They're sleeping. They're enjoying their life. Tired. Bunch of them, Max and I believe Mickey were limping because they ran so much the other day. They wore their legs out. But they're doing better now, so they'll probably go sometime this week once they're all healed up. So we had a bunch of rain yesterday. Rained all night. Rained all day today, so didn't get anything accomplished. I ended up having to order another truckload of grain because I went through all that grain with the cold winter. Along with, I have a bunch of deer that are really enjoying sticking their tongue through a slit trying to pull grain out. So I don't know how much they're actually pulling out. I'll find out coming up because I'm not double graining the animals because we're not having bitter cold anymore. Grass is already starting to pop here. We have ferns are already unrolling and popping here, and all different buds are starting on trees and bushes. So we're beginning into spring coming up shortly. The rain's helping. We got some rain coming up later this week. So I believe Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday are going to be decent days, and we got a couple days of rain, and then to the weekend it's nice again, then we got rain coming in yet again. So in between, I'm going to keep clearing the solar panels this upcoming week. Then I'm going to possibly get back onto the tiny home, working on the inside, trying to bring the boards out, get everything cut, start getting everything nailed up, run the electric wire, and then the ceiling, but I'm not sure if I'm going to focus on that quite yet. I am kind of thinking I need to get back to the fencing because I don't even have half of the pen done. I only have 2.5 months before May 1st gets here, or a little more than 2.5 months. So if I don't get on the pen, I'm not going to have that done. And, that's going to save me a bunch of money by getting the animals into new pen. For those of you that didn't see, I posted a bunch of photos of all the little goats. As many as I could capture because they kept bouncing from trough to trough, running all over the place, and trying to get pictures of them all was hard. But all the baby goats are doing good. I still got some more goats that are due at some point. They got big old bellies on them. They just haven't had babies yet. I'm not sure if any of my other cows are going to have babies. I don't know. They just have babies when they have babies. Like I said, unfortunately, I lost the one during the big cold spell. But that's pretty much, what's happened this past week, what's coming up this upcoming week. And then I also posted on my channel, Facebook and stuff. I got a memory on my Facebook, my personal Facebook, and it showed that I was at like 300,000 views 5 years ago. And so, out of curiosity, I don't really keep up with my channel like most YouTubers do. So I went on and I saw that I've gained over 1 million views in 5 years. Now, a lot of you may say, wow, that's a lot. Some of you may say that that's nothing. There's people that just have a single video that's got multi-million views. And that may be true. And when I go into YouTube, you see the algorithms, you see the AI, you see how they like condition you. So like growing up and going to school, we were taught you want a white picket fence, you want a 2-story house, 2 cars, the husband works, the wife stays home with the kids, you have at least 2 kids, a boy and a girl, and that's the perfect family. And it was called the cookie cutter layout. And that's what I see with YouTube. So for you, most of you don't have YouTube channels, but some of you do, and you're going to understand what I'm about ready to say. So on my dashboard, there's a box that tells you how to mold your channel, do this, do that, yada, yada, yada. And if you go into it, it gives you the topics that are hot right now on YouTube. So like back in the day when the whole Tractor Supply chicken feed thing was going on, you see all the channels cover that one topic. Or you see the Target stuff or the Budweiser stuff. All the channels cover it at that same exact time. And that's because they give you topics to go on right now to get the most views, to make the most money, yada, yada, yada. In my mind, that's the cookie cutter mentality. Because one of the big things in there is if you have a channel, when you do your video and you can go through YouTube, and I guarantee you're going to start saying cookie cutter, cookie cutter, cookie cutter, cookie cutter. Because one of the big things YouTube wants every channel to do is say, please, thumbs up, like this video, comment down below, share my videos, yada, yada. Everybody does that. And that's the cookie cutter mentality. I don't do that. You've seen my channel for a long time. Every once in a while, I'll throw that out there just because I do want to try to grow the channel because it does help making a little bit more money. And you can see in my video, or not the video, in the picture of 5 years ago to today, 5 years later, and it shows my balance on YouTube, how much money I made on YouTube over all these years. And this goes, my channel goes all the way back to, I think, like 2011, 2012, something like that. I just never had any content on my channel. But you can see I made $3,300 on YouTube in like a decade or something like that. So it's not a whole bunch of money. It's not like these other channels that have 500,000 subscribers and they make $10,000 a month. Yes, I don't do that. Now, if I followed all their algorithms and their cookie cutter ideas and say the like, comment, share stuff in every video, 2-3 times every video, in the beginning, the middle, and the end, and if I sell you a bunch of products and tell you all these different project blueprints that I have that you can purchase and do all this stuff in the description box, then yes, I can make a bunch of money like them. Am I out to do that? No, I'm not. Am I out there to get a 1 million subscriber account? No, I am not. Am I looking at doubling my account right now from 4,000 subscribers to 8,000? No, I'm not. If it happens, it happens. I started this channel, for those of you that don't know, because I've run a high risk that worst case scenario, I catch what my family has had in my family heredity, genes, whatever you want to call them. My great-grandmother had dementia and Alzheimer's. My grandfather had dementia. My other side of the family, I don't know all their aspects, but the dementia and Alzheimer's runs in my family strong on my mom's side. When I had my grandfather, for those of you that remember, I brought him out to Colorado when I lived in Colorado to take care of him because nobody in the family wanted him. They just wanted to put him in a nursing home. He had a hard time coming back around to reality. I had a bunch of his photo albums of like his work friends and the car shows, and I had his trophies and dart plaques and all that type of stuff, trying to bring him around. Not a lot of that ever touched. And I thought about when I really started this channel is like the famous movie The Notebook. The guy read these stories and it brought it around for just a little bit of time. And I thought, why not take it a step farther and make videos of my life and be able, if that happens in the future, maybe watching myself, physically seeing myself, physically hearing myself, and that might bring it back a lot quicker, or it might totally bring me back around. So I did that originally for me, and I had family on the East Coast that wanted to see what I was doing. So I would make videos and try to share it, and I didn't, technology-wise, know that you can do a unlisted video and send a link and let people see, only who has the link. So I made my YouTube channel public, and now it's grown to 4,100 subscribers over all these years. Not a big climb. Took a lot of years to get where I'm at. Like I said, I don't do the cookie cutter idea because I'm not trying to be like all the other channels. This is a documentary, basically, a vlog, like YouTube puts it. Don't say documentary, it's a vlog, because it's video, and it's my life. So I do share with you a lot more than what I would do in the beginning, because it's not just for me now. It's a lot of you want advice. A lot of you have questions, or like my VA or my bills or my ideas on why I do things, why I don't do things. Just like this past week too, I've had a lot of people say, all the wood I'm cutting up, all the trees I'm cutting up. Well, I could take the logs to a sawmill and get boards cut. Or I could take the logs and sell the logs. Well, that's a whole lot more work. Then we're talking wear and tear on my truck, trailers, yada, yada, me. Trying to lift 1,000-pound logs, which that ain't going to happen. And I need firewood anyhow because I plan to burn wood on the homestead. Like I said, I don't know if I'm going to put a wood stove in the tiny home. I'm kind of thinking I might somehow, because Steve isn't having the condensation issue that I was having in the shed at his place. And I think it's due to the wood stove. With the propane heater, I was getting that. However, because I'm fully insulating the shed / tiny home, I don't know if that will change anything. And since I'm changing the windows out from the single pane that ran all the water down to, I'm going to put in insulated glass windows, if all that's going to change things or not. So that will be something to find out this upcoming year. Am I still getting to the homestead this year? I'm hoping to. Don't know if I am. Don't know if I'm not. It's how things are going to play out. I did also this past week, since we're talking about homestead again, I changed the price on the homestead. I increased the price dramatically. Dramatically. Will it sell? Probably not. But everybody I've had come out for the price that I've had it listed at, everybody wants to negotiate to lower prices. So I set it to where after paying the survey, the taxes, paying the bank to release that part of the land from my mortgage, and I'll still have a mortgage on the rest of the land, it would leave me with $7,000. Well, everybody's trying to negotiate down. Well, if I negotiate down, then I have no money for me. So then I'm just selling the land to sell off some of my debt on my mortgage. And I want to get some of the debt off my mortgage, but I also need a little bit more cash so I can buy more batteries for the solar, so I can buy water cistern, so I can try to get water on the homestead going with rain catchment and so on and so forth. So I raised it from 37.5 for 10 acres to 52,000. Big jump. But somebody wants to say $10,000 less, then they feel like they got a deal because it's 10,000 less. And we're in February, so we're getting ready to come into tourist season here with everybody coming to the river. And now everybody has to drive by the homestead to go to the one river part, because the one entrance to the river is closed down because the road washed out when we had all the heavy rains last year. So I'm hoping with all the tourists coming through, a lot of people from Texas, California, so on and so forth, where they can sell things and have a lot more money than somebody here locally, and I might be able to get that money. And then if I do get a larger amount of money, then instead of $7,000, I might have $10,000 or $12,000 that I can do more things on the homestead, get more things done. So that's what I'm hoping for. So I have that going. I have the restaurant up for sale. Of course, you know, I don't have any pictures of the inside here, so nobody's interested because they all want to come walk through in here. Well, you can't do it with the dogs in Colorado. So hopefully at some point this year, something will sell. If not, I just got to keep scraping by. I've had a lot of people ask why I got rid of my, I had a GoFundMe a long time ago, and I hadn't done nothing with the GoFundMe. I just felt that at the time, there wasn't a whole lot of the GoFundMes out there, and I figured since I was kind of getting in there before the big homesteading boom, it was right there at the beginning of it, that I might find somebody rich that, you know, wanted to help out or something like that. That never happened. And the reason why I'm not doing it anymore is because everybody out there asks for money. Even on Facebook here, you see everybody putting up posts asking for handouts, asking for money, asking for food, asking for this, asking for that. Nobody, you know, is doing it because they need it. You know, everybody says they need it, but there's so many scams and stuff going on. So that's why in my description, the only thing that's in there now is if somebody wants to add on to the feed bill, because that helps take my $3,700 that I get, take that $2,500 that's going to the animals, where that gives me a couple $100 or $50 or $10 or whatever somebody puts on my feed bill, is money I can put towards fencing, or I can put towards finishing the tiny home or things like that. So that's another reason why I'm not doing that anymore. And then the big topic of tonight, which has been all over the place, is about what you need to do before it's too late. And I've been thinking about how I want to go over this topic and how I want to lay it out, because we've kind of passed certain criteria in certain time frames of the year. And we need to start thinking differently than how everybody thinks. So summer gets here, and what's everybody do? They go store, they buy a bathing suit, they buy outdoor furniture, they buy the umbrellas and the beach towels, they go buy all the garden supplies, all that type of stuff. Winter gets here, everybody goes, they buy a sled, they buy snow boots, they buy snow clothes, gloves, hats. But what are we doing wrong? Well, we're following the sheep mentality, the herd mentality, and we're falling for the higher prices. So as a way of saving money, especially with inflation, even though a lot of things are going down, a lot of channels still talk about everything's going up, because that's that fear porn. They want you scared and panicking. A lot of things are coming down. Gas is starting to go back up. But a lot of things in the grocery store have been going down. A lot of things at Home Depot have been going down. And I continue seeing it going down. But if you're trying to save money to get to homesteading, or you're trying to save money while you're homesteading, or you're just trying to save money overall, whether you live in the city, homestead, or what have you, you need to think of opposites. So if during the summer everybody goes to do this, you should be looking for the winter. During the winter, you should be looking for spring and summer. What am I talking about? After Christmas, what happens? Hats go on sale, mittens go on sale, scarves go on sale, winter boots go on sale, sleds go on sale. Why? Because it's going out of season. So that should be the time you're buying your winter stuff for the following winter. Just like right now, you should be cutting your firewood like you saw in the picture, all that firewood that I'm doing from clearing the solar area. If you wait until October, November to cut your firewood, it's not well seasoned. It doesn't burn right. It doesn't burn as hot. You don't get as much heat and BTUs off of the wood. And who knows, a freak snowstorm comes in, you might not have the wood to burn, period, because you can't get out there to cut it. So we need to think on the opposite. So right now, you should be cutting your firewood. You should have been cutting your firewood last month. Why? Because then that gives you 10 months until October for the wood to season, to dry out, to be ready to burn, to give you the best heat and BTUs. Right now is a great time to start buying stuff for spring before all the prices increase. When spring and summer is over and we're going into fall, a lot of the gardening tools go on sale. So you should be buying for the future year, not the current year. If you do that, you'll start saving a lot of money. Walmart, all their gardening stuff, 50% off in December and November. If you would have bought all that in November and December, you wouldn't be buying it at full retail now. You could have saved a bunch of money. And with that extra money, you could have bought extra bags of soil or amendments or manure or sand or rock, whatever you need for your homestead, instead of paying full retail now and not being able to afford all that. So before it's too late, you need to get the motivation. You need to cheer yourself on. Get out there, cut your firewood now. Winter time, it's still winter. You should be planning your gardens out. You should be getting things ready. So you're not waiting until April and then you're scatterbrained trying to do this and that and this and that, and you miss that opportunity. Just like with me. Last month on my New Year's new goal, it says temporary garden setup. I have not got to it yet. February, it's supposed to already have been done. I'm a month behind. So that's something I still need to do. So you got to get out there. You got to get motivated. You got to get pushing, and you got to get yourself set up for success. If you procrastinate, it's going to end up in failure or struggle or a headache or just a pain in the butt. That's about all I got for you guys for this week. So I hope everybody had a great week. I know days can be rough. I know finances can be rough. Look at me. I live in debt all the time. Like I said a couple of days ago, I was down in the dumps, had no motivation, sitting around here, just thinking of the old days and how the new days just keep getting ruined more and more, and how society just gets worse and worse, and how we go farther and farther away from community, and just seeing how the world is turning in the wrong direction. Like my great-grandfather right there always told me, change, 90% bad, 10% good. The change we are seeing is just getting worse and worse and worse. And one thing you should think about is how rough life can be, how rough your life was, is, can be. So why would you want to make somebody else's life any rougher than their life already is? That's one thing a lot of us need to focus on, is instead of just trying to cause problems for people, not being neighborly, not being community, we need to focus on helping each other and smiling, giving hugs, making people's lives easier. If you live on a bad road, help fix the road. If your branches are sticking out and messing up somebody's car every time they drive by your place, cut your branches down. Make it easier for them. And if your car is getting scratched by somebody's branches down the road, who knows? They might cut it to help you out. It's a circle. What you give is what you get. What you get is what you give. And that's the whole pay it forward. So that was a big thing back in the early 2000s of the big pay it forward, where people were paying at toll booths for the person behind them and at McDonald's for the person behind them. And there was such that closeness because of the whole 9/11 BS. I know some people believe it, some people don't. I'm not here to argue about that. But that brought everybody together. And to see the way the world is turning and the way we're becoming so divided, and just the fear that is being instilled in everybody, that doomsday is always coming tomorrow. That's one of the reasons why I'm not a big doomsday prepper like I used to be. I'm still a semi-prepper. But if you think about it, I've talked to people that say, oh, in the next 6 months, doomsday is coming. Or next month is the big date. Or 2 years. And all this time's passed. Nothing has come of it. But yet we always think doomsday is coming the next day. Just like right now. They're putting out movies called Civil War, April 12th of this year. I'm going to watch it because it does. It looks really good. You got the thing in Texas. You got just over half the states on the side of Texas. The other less than half don't care about Texas. And you got all these people saying, oh, it's a war zone and da-da-da in Texas. But you watch some of these real people on YouTube that are actually documenting stuff that shows, okay, here's a bunch of barbed wire for 10 miles and then a bunch of open gates and no fencing whatsoever that people can walk through. So is it really the opinion of Texas to stop something if they're just leaving all that wide open? Could it be because it's the election year? Could it be because they're trying to get the limelight? Are they trying to get more views and clicks on their channels? It's just sad that we're focused on scaring people. Making people fearful. Same thing with the food rationings and food prices and stuff like that. People that are struggling right now. People that are losing jobs right now. People that, if you believe or don't believe in the sickness that happened in 2020, that people lost family, friends, life can be rough. We got to stop looking at the negative side of life, look at the positive side of life, and try to make everybody's life a little bit better. Just like Leave the World Behind that I talked about last Sunday, Monday vlog that I watched. In that, I guarantee the cast of Friends, the producers or whatever, wanted more clicks on the TV show Friends. So they put that in there. And the little girl wanted to see the end of Friends, the last episode of Friends. And for the life of me, I didn't remember it. And I have the CDs here. I had the full set because I don't pay for Netflix. I don't pay for Hulu and Disney Plus. I had DVDs. I own the stuff. I don't have to pay every month to keep watching the same stuff. I own it. But I went back and watched the end of Friends. And that's what we need to do. We need to get back to the old way of life. And I'm probably going to start Friends over the whole season because it is a good season. And I probably need to get Everybody Loves Raymond and King of Queens and all those good, wholesome, well, they may not all be wholesome, but good shows that, you know, it was family, it was community, it wasn't just a bunch of the BS that's going on now. It wasn't trying to change your mind on everything. It was something you could just sit back, enjoy, relax after a day of work, so they could keep you in the mouse wheel of that 9 to 5 job that I keep talking about. You go, you make the money, they take half your money, you spend the other half, you watch a little bit of entertainment, and you go over the wheel again. And that's life. And that's what I'm trying to break, and that's what I hope a lot of you try to break. Homesteading is one avenue of doing that. But am I ever going to break that wheel? No, I'm not. Am I doing the 9 to 5? No. Why? Because I injured myself. But am I ever going to be self-sufficient? No, I'm not. Are you ever going to be self-sufficient? No, you're not. If the world collapses and we go back to the old way of things, do your research and see how hard life was and how little people ate back in the day. Look at how little people owned back in the day. Look at how many hours in homesteading you had to do just to try to make it through a winter. Look how many people perished in the winters. Look how many people perished in the summers. Look at how many people throughout history have perished through starvation and dehydration and disease and famine and everything in the world. We have life very, very easy right now. And I know there's a lot of people hoping that this side goes against that side, or there's a reset, or there's no government, or there's what have you. People want more freedom. People want less freedom. People want society to continue. People want communities to come back. But overall, if you think about it, you have it very easy to be able to go to the grocery store and get what food you need. You're lucky to go to Home Depot and be able to buy a chainsaw blade and the gas station to get gas, to cut logs for an entire year and a week. Where back in the day, all you had was a handsaw. And that took a lot of work, a lot of time, just to stay warm and not freeze to death. So, along with trying to make life easier for everybody, along with trying to make life a lot better for everybody, we got to remember, don't take things for granted. There's people like me that have been homeless that a lot of you out there will never experience. There's a lot of you that have not lived without electricity. A lot of you that have not lived without running water. Why? Because you do that 9 to 5 job. Because you find a way of not doing that. You find solemn in the city life. But if you don't struggle, then you don't see what you take for granted. Like I've said before, when I installed that toilet in my house, when it was just a 1-story house, when I finally got plumbing, that was exciting. And the post that I did when I finally got my bedroom, where I hadn't had a bedroom in so many years. I just had a mattress here by my couches in that 1-story house. To when I had a flushing toilet upstairs and didn't have to walk down a flight of stairs to go to the bathroom. Those are the simple things in life that so many people take for granted. I'm sure a lot of you take that for granted because you haven't experienced what it's like not to have it. You could do the prepper test. Cut off your breaker box. Shut off your water. Live that way for a week. Try it for a day. And see how difficult it is to stay clean, to cook, to bathe, to use the bathroom, and things like that. Just on a 24-hour basis, let alone a week or a month. Or look how long it took me to finally get utilities. Look, I'm about ready to go back into a shed without running water. It's the things that we take for granted that we don't understand until we lose it. We hate our job if we have a 9 to 5 until we lose it. Then we realize what we had. We have family that we don't like, that once you lose it, you may have regrets. You have friendships that you ruined, that when they're gone, you understand the sadness and depression of what's been lost. If you take things for granted, you never enjoy life. If you never suffer, you never enjoy life. Just like a roller coaster. You don't know how good the highs are unless you hit those lows. And you don't know how bad the lows are if you've never been to the top. If you stay on one plane through your whole life, you never know the difference between the tops and the bottoms. Maybe that's good, but that's the matrix. Why would you want to live in the matrix? I know a lot of people say, because I don't have a lot of friends, I don't have a lot of relationships and things like that, I'm isolated. And if I change this or if I change that, I wouldn't be so isolated. I'm antisocial. I'm not a social person. But if I went and did movies and stuff like that and hung out with people, I would have more friends. Would I change any of that? I've thought about that this past week. When I was down in dumps, that's what I started thinking. I'm like, if I change things in life, I would have more friends. If I change things in life, I would have a different life. And then I started thinking, would I really enjoy that life? Well, if you're in that matrix, going on that plane that just coasts through life, then you are. All my friends, what I thought were friends that drank and partied and all that stuff. Well, I won't even say friends, just people in school. I never did that life. Every once in a while, I dipped and weaved into different groups, from the varsity people to the nerds to the drinkers to the goths. I was all over. I was friends with, acquaintances, I'll say. I did have friends in different ones. But if I went out and drank all the time, I wouldn't be homesteading. If I was chasing the dollar all the time, I wouldn't be homesteading. I'd be in the city. So you've got to choose what type of life you want. And when I'm sitting out on the homestead, cranking out to Disney music, in my element, with my dogs, with the animals, enjoying life, it's the enjoyment and the wholesome, knowing not only am I doing what I want to do on my own time, on my own dime, and not working that 9 to 5 for somebody else, but when I'm in thought with myself and I'm out there doing my thing, I realize how many people out there cannot tolerate just being by themselves. And how many people like taking toilets and electricity and everything for granted is having all those friends for granted and not realizing that if they came over this way, they would see what true peace could be. A lot of people aren't at true peace with themselves. A lot of people can't be by themselves. A lot of people can't live out and do a homestead by themselves. A lot of the homestead channels you see out there, it's a husband and wife and a bunch of kids. You don't see a whole bunch of single homesteaders doing things on their own. Or if they are, it's more of a TikTok thing. They're out there for the views and all that stuff. They're not focused just in on themselves. They're doing it to show the fanciest chicken coop and so on and so forth. It's not the true homesteading of, life's not unicorn rainbows and pixie dust. But you should do that. You should cut off your electric. You should cut off your water for 24 hours. See what life is like. See what you take for granted. Those friends, you don't answer the phone calls. The text messages you leave on read and don't answer. Remember the people you've lost in your life already. Your grandparents, your great-grandparents, your parents, your uncles, your aunts, your cousins, your nieces, your nephews, your friends, best friends, work friends. Think of whoever you've lost and what you want to give to be able just to text them one more time, to call them one more time. You had that feeling because you took that relationship for granted. You could have spent more time talking to that person. Same thing with me. Some people I give my time to. I have some YouTube people that reach out to me that all they do is call me with problems. Problems, 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 problems. Negative, 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 negative. There's no positivity. Do I spend any time on the phone with them? Rarely. Why? Because I only have a little bit of time on this planet. And I don't need that in my life. I have people that are very positive, that are way over positive over top of me. And I give them about the same amount of time because I can't be on cloud 9 all the time because that's not reality. That's not life. That's the matrix. That's making life something it's not. You gotta endure the struggles. You gotta endure the stress. You gotta endure the debt, like my credit cards. You gotta endure feeding all these animals because they're like family and you can't get rid of them to lower your cost because it's like getting rid of your children. You just don't do that. I choose the life I live. I do the things I do because it fits me. You do the things you do because it fits you. But at times, like cutting off the power in the water, you got to step out of that box. You got to step out of that comfort to realize what you take for granted. Which is one reason why I'm going back to the shed without running water. Yes, I'm going to have power, but I'm not going to have running water. Why? Because that's going to give me a newfound respect for all this water I'm blowing here at the restaurant. 5,000 gallons a month. There's a lot of people that would kill for 200 gallons a month. There's a lot of people that just want a gallon a day. Life can be hard. Life can be a struggle. It's what you do about it at the end of the day that you either succeed or you fail. And no matter whether you succeed or you fail, you need to learn. If you fail, you learn from your failure. You find out what was wrong, just like in gardening, just like with livestock husbandry. You sight in what you did wrong, you fix it, and you try it again. If you succeed, then you need to remember the struggle, the effort, the attitude it took to get there. And you got to remember how far back you can come. Because you're not always going to have success. You're going to have 90% failures and 10% success. Don't believe me? Look at most of your relationships. I'm not talking about just girlfriend, boyfriend, husband, wife. I'm talking overall relationships. How many relationships have you had? Friendships, boyfriend, girlfriend, 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 boyfriend, whatever. Through your whole life. Not just right now, your whole life. You probably had hundreds, if not thousands of relationships. Work relationships, employee relationships. How many people do you still keep in contact? How many people have been gone? There's your 90-10 ratio. Just like my great-grandfather said. 90% change is bad, 10% of it's good. Same thing with your life, your relationships. Your failure and your success work in the same way. You have to have failures. You have to have losses. You have to have debt. You have to have struggles in order to get to that success. And if you give up at any time, then you stay at that bottom. And if you stay at that bottom, you never get to enjoy that top. And just like I talked to a couple different people about how last year, the end of the year got so good for me. You know, finally getting the house in Marshall sold, so I don't have to pay taxes on that this year. So I don't have to drive over there and mow the yard every couple weeks to maintain the property. To be able to have a little bit of money, to be able to get that inverter that's on the table and the battery bank that's back here, and finally be able to move forward in life. Just that little bit of success after all the struggling. To now this year, I've had a bunch of issues. A lot of issues I'm not talking about on the channel. I've gone through a lot of issues I haven't talked about over all the years. Like I said, YouTubers only tell you what they want to share. I share a lot more, but there's also a lot I don't share. It's rough. Life can be rough. If you need somebody, talk to somebody. If you want to call me, call me. You want to Facebook me, Facebook me. You want to text message me, text message me. If it's a continuous negativity, I'm telling you, I only have so much time on this planet. I'm only willing to give my time to so many people. Another reason why I don't want to be a 500,000 follower channel or a 1,000,000 follower channel, because then you can't keep up these relationships. If you have 50,000 people a day calling you, you can't answer 50,000 calls a day. You can't answer 50,000 comments a day like a lot of the big channels are. I don't sell stuff. I don't do the cookie cutter platform because I'm not looking at doing the matrix. I like my bob and weaves, my ups and downs, my roller coasters. I like to be like the ocean. Let the waves come in and the bullshit float to sea. I like to live by my tagline. Live happy, live free. That's the only way to be. I'll see you guys on the next video. Have a great night.